ladies and gentlemen, please give Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, a great round of applause for his work on the forefront, on the battlefield of transitioning and transforming communities all across the world.
Good morning. Let us join hands and bow our heads in prayer. In 1948, in Philadelphia, there was one black participant in the convention. Reverend Gray, Bill Gray's father, gave the prayer at the Democratic Convention in 48. He became for us a national hero. He prayed a prayer at the convention. And look at us today. Accept our petition, dear God. Make us mature in the struggle. Empower us to be long-distance runners. Make us more fit for the fight. For the Cecil Moores and the Leon Sullivans and the Martin Kings and the Medgar Evers who came this way and the Faneuil Hamers, we build upon the legacy of sweat and blood they shed before us. Let's never do anything to embarrass them or let them down. And go forward by a renewed sense of hope and never backwards by fear. We know if we have the faith that you have the power to see us through, nothing is too hard for you. We stand in that lineage, amen. I want to make several observations about some of the stuff. Last year, the Golden State Warriors judge won the most games. Then there was a playoff, and they won that too barely. But they lost the Super Bowl. By analogy, we've had a tough season, and one group won, one group lost. The group that lost can't drop out the NBA. We're now in playoff season. But none of it matters unless you win the Super Bowl November the 8th. Now, the significance of showing up for the Super Bowl, participating, Brother Greg, is that in basketball, if you didn't win, you can't play in the Super Bowl. Then voting, everybody must vote at Super Bowl time. We have been here before. 1968, Dr. King killed in April. Robert Kennedy killed in June. The great agony over the Vietnam War. Should Humphrey pull away from Johnson quicker, further? He didn't. And by the margin of our despair and anger, Nixon eased in the side door. We've been here before. 1980, Kennedy took on Carter. Couldn't quite embrace him at convention in New York. By the margin of that indecision, Reagan eased in the side door. 2000, after tremendous momentum, Nader decided he couldn't take Gore. He did take 2 million votes, 4 million votes. Gore did lose by 527. We have been here before. All that really matters is Super Bowl day, November the 8th. The people who are spoiled take a position, Brother Greg, all or nothing. But some of us have to survive in the cracks. I was walking down the street not long ago, and there was a broken sidewalk. Sidewalks cover up dirt, and Pastor Hall, when it's raining, they cover up the mud. But in the broken sidewalk, there was a little grass and a little flower coming out the crack. Many of us don't have the option of the whole lump. We got to survive in the cracks and fight for a better day and for another day. We don't have the option to elect Trump because we're too angry about yesterday. Let me put this another way. I'm going to stay right here for a minute. Someone asked Jack Nicklaus one day, said, Jack Nicklaus, distinguish between good and great golfers. He said all professional golfers can play. All professional golfers can drive, know how to use the irons and how to use the drivers and how to do the putting. He said the difference is that the great golfers mess up on hole 6 and go to the 7th hole and play the 7th hole. The good golfers go to the 7th hole thinking about the 6th hole and mess up that one too. It's hard to go forward looking backwards. This ain't the first time there was some mess up in the DNC about the incumbent. We faced that too. When I first ran, the threshold was 35%. We brought it down to 15%. We didn't leave. Winner take all. Winner take all meant if I got 46%, Dukakis got 49%, he got all my delegates. That didn't make sense. We fought to get proportionality. Well, people thought that was a soft sellout in 88. But about 2008, what did it mean? Hillary Clinton won Ohio and California and Texas and Pennsylvania. By the 84 rules, she would have been the winner. By the 88 rules, Barack was the winner because we changed the rules to make them more fair in 88. Those of you who are in this, you must be long distance runners. Say long distance runners. Long distance. Right. My second piece is that there's something deceptive, Judge, about speaking in that big hall. Because everybody in the hall kind of have one purpose, and they kind of speak with one mind. And in the good speechwriter can write a bunch of punchlines, predictive, know what people are going to scream. That's an echo chamber. Real life is outside that hall. For example, I chose to mention in my minute or so last night African policy. African policy matters. How can you have 1,000 African-American delegates don't mention the word African one time? So Africa policy matters. Africa policy matters. Poverty matters. Well, we're going to run some ads to get in Philadelphia. There are 400,000 out of 1.5 million to 400,000 people with a jail record. In Philadelphia, there are 500,000 functionally illiterate. In Pennsylvania, Penn State, 5% African American, except on the football field. State Penn, 49.8. Say in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, 5%. Penn State, State Penn, 49.8. Now, there must be some reality up in here. If you just announce and y'all ought to vote, and y'all either ain't eligible, feel y'all can't vote, it doesn't. Chicago. Write that down, Judge. Pretty good stuff, ain't it? Chicago, 2,400 shot this year. Almost 400 killed this year already. Not only closed 50 schools, 80,000 vacant homes and abandoned lots. When they closed those schools, drug stores went, 50 drug stores went, 75 grocery stores went. No Trump unit on the south side of Chicago. It's a killing field. Guns in, drugs in, jobs out. There must be a focus here on violence. They tried to associate the two assassinations in Dallas and in Baton Rouge with the Black Lives Matter. That's not true. They were military. Those were soldiers who volunteered to join the military. They went to Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran rather, and guess what? They were disappointed. They learned how to shoot in the military. They learned how to do decoys and ambushes. They learned how to make bombs. And they came back home with post-traumatic syndrome, explosion in their heads, and they shot police that should not have done that. But now, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Louisiana, and Texas have open carry with guns. You walk up to a policeman in Dallas with his pistol and your AK, say, "Hi, buddy," and go upstairs and shoot him down. The guys who learn military training can go right down in the store or online or at the gun shop and buy a semi-automatic weapon. That's why I kept talking about banning assault weapon last night. We don't stand a reasonable chance. Chicago got 10,000 inmates in Cook County Jail, all on pretrial detention. 4,000 mentally ill in jail every day taking medicine just to keep them calm. I'm talking about the reality check on our situation. So some people ain't voting not because they don't get it, they don't feel they are part of it. Unless we speak to them, they're not going to speak back to us. We have a big job this year doing a lot of voter registration, but also understanding what's happening. We need a conference on gun violence. We need to focus on racial disparities. Philadelphia unemployment for whites is 2.5%, for blacks is 11.8%. In Philadelphia, this morning. We're meeting in Philadelphia is 11.8, 2.8 and 11 in Philadelphia today. Chicago on the north side of town, unemployment 3%, suburbs job 1%, in the ghetto 25% for adults and 55% for youth. So we need a plan to reinvest in urban America. Let me make this last point before I go. That is to say in every city, there are more jobs than people. In every city, there are more jobs than people. It's a matter of building at home or killing abroad. For example, in any given city, if you just remove, say Detroit got 100,000 vacant homes, abandoned lots, Chicago 80,000, Baltimore 19,000. To remove the lead paint is jobs. To cut the weeds is landscaping, entrepreneurial jobs. The houses that cannot be repaired, to demolish them with morale is jobs. Those that can be fixed up, to fix the sunken roofs, to replace boards with window panes, to put in new refrigerators and plumbing and toilets and the like, jobs. Say in every city, there are more jobs than people. You'd have to look for some people to work in Detroit if that was a plan to rebuild the inner city, not just downtown, Greg. There are more jobs in Chicago to be had than there are people who could work if they had their jobs created. We're dealing with some bad, misplaced priorities. We need to make some, what are y'all, blacks, we were the firewall for Sister Hillary in the South. What do we want for the firewall? So we want a plan to ban assault weapons. We want a commitment to end racial disparities. We want a plan to rebuild America and to end poverty. I close on this note simply by saying to you, my friends, we have a lot of work. We can win this election, and we ought to, but we don't have to. They're running a crusade, we're running a campaign. Crusades often beat campaigns because people are caught up in the spirit of this crusade. When you talk about we're going to deport 15 million people, Mark, you're not disruptive, that's a violent idea, that we're going to build a wall between us and Mexico. We share 2,000 miles of border with Mexico. We trade more with Mexico on a daily basis than with China and Japan every day. Every day. And they're the gateway to South, Central, and Latin America. America is a minority country in this hemisphere. Most folk in this hemisphere speak Spanish. English is a minority language. They're not back door, they are next door, and they are eternal neighbors who we locked by the ribbon, locked at the land. You mean that you're going to destabilize NATO and Western Europe? That is a suggestion born of looking at the world through a key and not through a door hole. So we must look at the world through a door, not through a keyhole. We have the numbers. We have the need to win. But you don't win the big battle just because you're right. You win because you fight. South Carolina. Somebody said, well, you think blacks would turn out in 2016, let it turn out for Barack in 2008? President Barack didn't start the movement, he inherited the movement. He took it to its logical conclusion. Why should we vote in South Carolina? South Carolina is 32% African American, 30% state contracts, 1% black. A state with 1 million poor people, 250,000 have no health insurance, none. The government turns down Medicaid. A state with a $7 billion budget turned down $13 billion. Do we have a reason to vote in South Carolina? From Virginia around the, say some Virginia, around the Texas, if we vote our numbers and I hope we can win governorships and Senate seats across the South. Friends, let nothing break your spirit. Do not surrender. God bless you and keep hope alive.
Okay. All right, folks, give Reverend Jackson another round of applause.
Judge, I almost made the ultimate mistake. Reverend James Hall, please stand. I'm so apologetic. The reason why these seeds planted means to Reverend James Hall, when I was a teenager in Greenville, South Carolina, all on my mind was playing ball and doing what teenagers do and adjusting to segregation. We knew what to do and what not to do, what to sit, what not to sit. One minister broke the glass ceiling of racial fear. He organized a group of us. We went to jail trying to use a public library July 1960. This minister hosted Jackie Robinson at the NAACP State Convention in '59. And when it was over, athletes used to speak at athletic conventions in the off season, use their fame to raise money. That's what Jackie Robinson did. And and his wife, Mrs. Hall, could not sit in the white section, which was clean at the airport. On January 1st, 1960, Reverend Hall led 1,500 people to march on the Greenville airport. The sit-ins were February 1st, 1960, Brother Mark. This was January 1st, 1960. He led 1,500 march on the airport and began to break it down. The reason I would like to tell about my bravado and my courage, but that some of that came from him too, because we train, you might go to jail. If they curse you, don't respond. They spit at you, just duck, take it. It's a nonviolent fight. We all that discipline training. And so we went, and the lawyers were in place, the police knew we were coming. We got to the jail, and got to the library. Police said, "Who's leading this?" And nobody would come. Who's leading? And walked up to me and said that, you got the count of 3 of y'all going to jail. 1, I looked around. 2, I backed up. We went back down to the church. So Reverend Hall said, "Why y'all back so quick?" He said, "They were going to lock us up. Hell, I sent y'all to get arrested." This is the man who sent me to jail. Give a big hand to Reverend James.
You never know where the seeds will grow that you plant. Thank God for this seed that I planted. I baptized him. I think I'm about 10 years older than he is. I was 84 Sunday past, and I'm about 10 years older than he is. God bless you. Glad to see you. Come by Triumph sometimes.
Bless you, brother. 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 Bless you.